Greetings, welcome, and thank you for clicking. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing Company, encouraging your journey with Reiki, card reading, and coaching for life's changes, challenges, and transitions. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Ask the Stones, offering spiritual guidance and encouragement for life's challenging questions. Greetings, welcome, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Ask the Stones. This episode's question is from Karen. Hello. I would like some relationship advice. I'm having problems with a relationship. Thank you, Karen, for this. Well, I guess it's not a question. I guess it's more of a statement. So thank you very much, Karen. So Karen, I am going to say, of course, that I don't know any specifics about the relationship that you are referencing, that you're having problems with, but that is no problem. I'm happy to talk about relationships in general and to offer some thoughts and to draw some cards for you for your relationship challenge. So, Karen and everyone, the first thing that I really want to emphasize is that relationship challenges are incredibly normal. No one is immune to relationship challenges. I think that sometimes we may think that people who have it all figured out, I certainly am not one of those people, by the way, that's for sure, but that people who have it all figured out are just wonderful with their relationships. They never have any problems. Maybe they have the most amazing marriage or love relationship. They have the most wonderful relationships with their parents and the best relationship with their children, and everyone that they know just gets along well with them. And so I think that we often have a tendency to think that we're the only ones with relationship challenges. But the truth is that there isn't anyone who has perfect, quote unquote, Karen, perfect relationships with everyone. Because as human beings, we all are unique people with our own personalities, our own likes and dislikes, our own ways of doing things. And it is inevitable that those ways are going to chafe against someone else's ways. That those ideas, those thoughts about the world, that worldview is going to clash with someone else's worldview. Maybe someone we know well, maybe someone we only know as an acquaintance. But what I'm really getting at here, Karen, is that your relationship challenge or challenges, whatever and with whomever they may be, are completely normal. So the first thing that really comes to mind and that I want to say, Karen, is that we are all always going to have relationship challenges. Never are we going to have forever smooth relationships with everyone we know in our lives, and that they will always go incredibly well, that we will never have any misunderstandings or miscommunications, and that everything will always be perfect. No way. Your relationship challenge right now is, I'm sorry to tell you, not the last one that you are going to have. But Karen, you probably already know that. So we cannot eliminate all relationship problems from our lives for the rest of our lives. And when I say problem, I really want to actually focus in on what I mean when I say problem, or, because Karen, I don't know exactly what your quote problem is, but for me, relationship challenges are everything from just a miscommunication or a misunderstanding to everything up to and including everything in between, wanting to wanting to commit homicide, Karen. Now, of course, I do not advocate that, so please, no killing of the person who you are having a relationship challenge with. Let me emphasize that in big blinking lights. Violence is not a solution, and we want to make sure that we are treating the people with whom we have relationship challenges in a compassionate way, and that includes, please, no killing. And so those problems, those challenges that you might have with someone can just run a whole range. And they can be from the very small to the very large. So you will have a whole range of those throughout the rest of your life. And I would bet money, Karen, that you have already in your life, however long it may be at this point, challenges with other people and relationship challenges. I guarantee it. And I guarantee that the same is true for every single one of us. So, Karen, whatever your problem, your challenge is, yep, that's normal. So, now again, I don't know what your challenge is specifically, Karen, so I can't speak to the specifics of it, but I can say that just having relationship challenges is normal. So great. We know it's normal, Christian. What do we do about it? I really want to encourage all of us to consider ourselves in a relationship. You know, anyone that we have a relationship with, we are one half of the relationship. So any relationship, whether it's with your parent, your child, your sibling, your dog, your cat, whatever, you are one half of that relationship. And you have complete control over that half of the relationship. You don't have control over the other half. You can only control your responses, your conduct, the way that you approach the relationship. That's all that you can control. And so a few things I really want to encourage, Karen, whatever your challenge may be, is that when it comes to relationships, we really want to consider ourselves within the relationship, because we are always viewing the world in our own particular way. We are always approaching every relationship from our own viewpoint. And this, of course, seems like a no-brainer. Yes, of course, Christian, I am me, and I am approaching the world as me. Yep. And I think that sometimes we forget that, and we think that we can arrive at some objective view of a relationship, when really that's kind of impossible, because we are viewing the relationship, of course, through our own worldview glasses. And so, Karen, anytime we have a relationship challenge, I think it is really important to start with ourselves and to start with the recognition that we are seeing this relationship. We are always seeing this relationship filtered through our own experience, which of course is going to have an effect upon how we see the experience. So, you know, I have the glasses that I use to view the world. These are Christian colored glasses, and I'm looking at the world through my own lens of experience. I cannot look at the world in any other way. That lens includes who I am, where I was born, my identities, my likes and dislikes, my interests, my beliefs. All of those things inform the way in which I look at the world. And so all of those things also inform the way that I look at and approach relationships. And so, Karen, whatever relationship challenge you are having, I want to encourage you to consider that relationship through the lens of your lens. So, in other words, just acknowledging that you cannot arrive at an objective, quote, truth of a relationship because you can't be objective about it. You're viewing it through your own experience. So I think that's really important. I think something else that's really important is to attempt to recognize that and then attempt to look at the relationship from the other person's point of view. Now, of course, again, this is always impossible to perfectly understand something from someone's point of view, simply because we are trying to look at the world through someone else's glasses while wearing our own glasses. And so your own glasses are indeed going to skew the view through the other person's glasses. But Karen, I really want to encourage you to try to see the relationship through the other person's lenses. So to try to, as best you can, take off your lenses, take off your glasses that you are looking at the world through, and try to see the experience, the relationship, the challenge through their experience, through their glasses, and how they may be looking at it. How can we do this? I am a big proponent of compassion. And so no matter what relationship challenge you may be experiencing, I am always, always an advocate for compassion and loving kindness and working to view the other person in a relationship in a compassionate kind of way. Now, I am not going to lie. This is not easy. It is hard sometimes to be compassionate. But I think this is truly what we are called to practice in all of our relationships is compassion. That understanding that someone is having a different experience, is looking at the world through their own experiences, and that experience is going to be different from yours. And to acknowledge that they're looking through the world with their own glasses of their experiences, their context, their life, their upbringing, their beliefs, positive, negative things that have happened to them, all of the things that have shaped them. And so I want to encourage us to remember anytime we have a relationship challenge to bring compassion to that challenge and to recognize that each of us is our own person who has been shaped by all kinds of forces. You know, it was Marcus Aurelius who said, be kind because everyone you know is fighting a hard battle. It is so true. You know, you don't know what experiences someone else has had, what they might currently be going through, and how that might be shaping their experience. So let's say, for instance, Karen, that you have a particular friend, and this friend just seems kind of cranky one day, and you don't really know what that's all about, but your friend is acting kind of cranky. And you may think, wow, what's up with her? She's cranky today. What a pain in the butt. Well, you don't know. Maybe Karen, she's got a toothache going on. Maybe her car payment is due and she doesn't have the money for it. Maybe something is going on with one of her kids. It could be any of those things. And it may have absolutely zero to do with you, Karen, and your relationship. So, you might be thinking, oh man, did I say something? Did I do something? It could just be any of those things, none of those things, but have zero to do with you. And so I think it's important for us to remember that we all have our own experiences that do shape our responses. And that when we have relationship challenges, they actually may not at their root have anything to do with us, even if we perceive that they have something to do with us. And so I think that's important to recognize. I think something else when we have relationship challenges, Karen, is to address them, to be honest about them, to note them, and to talk about them, to be honest about them. Now, of course, I do believe that this is going to vary depending upon your relationship with the person. So if this is someone you have a great relationship with, you really like and trust, and it's a relationship that you want to maintain, and that you want to have a strong relationship, then I think anytime we have challenges with those relationships, I think it's important for us to address them, to bring them up, and to be able to talk about them lovingly in a compassionate way, in a way that recognizes that other person's humanity and respects them and acknowledges that they very well may be fighting their own hard battle. So bringing compassion to any discussions that you might have about relationship challenges. I am a believer in addressing challenges. I am a believer in working through challenges. And I'm also a believer in doing that in a very loving, kind, respectful, and compassionate way. And a way that honors your feelings and the other person's feelings as well. And so I do advocate, Karen, talking about relationship challenges and talking about them in a respectful kind of way. I am also going to say, Karen, that depending upon the relationship, you may not want to address any problems or challenges. And that's going to be your call. That's going to be an individual decision, but it's always important for us to explore that and to understand the ramifications of not addressing relationship challenges. So what I'm saying is that I don't believe that you need to address every single little issue all of the time. Some listeners may disagree with me. Some spiritual practitioners may disagree with me. And some may say, no, we need to be authentic. We need to be talking about all of the challenges. We need to be open and honest. We need to be able to talk about them. And if you're not, then you're lying. Okay, I respect that belief, that opinion, that way of looking at the world. And I respect those glasses. And I don't think that every little challenge in a relationship, every little quote problem always needs to be addressed and fixed or quote fixed and discussed. So I do want to put that out there as well, that Karen, I don't know what this challenge is, and maybe it's one that is something to address, and maybe it's one for you to just take note of and note your own feelings and your own reactions. Remember, you are one half of this relationship. And so it's important, I think, always when there's a relationship challenge to start with our half and to be considering ourselves, how we are acting in the relationship, how we are showing up, our own words, and how they may be interpreted. So putting ourselves in that other person's shoes and thinking about how they might be viewing us and the messages that we are sending out. Because anytime, of course, we send messages, they may not be received in the way that we mean them. And that is not always through anyone's fault. It may not be the fault of the sender. It may not be the fault of the receiver. And so I think it's just always important for us to consider how our messages may be received. So, Karen, when we experience relationship challenges, I always first recommend starting with ourselves and exploring the ways that we are showing up, the things that we are doing and saying in the relationship, and how those may be interpreted by the other person. I think that is all very important for us to consider, Karen. And you know, Karen, there is so much to say about relationships. Now, I don't know exactly what kind of challenges you might be having and therefore exactly what kind of advice you might be seeking. That's just some general relationship advice that I would like to provide to you on your request for relationship advice. So thank you, Karen, for that request. I'm going to draw some cards for you, Karen, and we'll see what comes up in the cards. Maybe some additional thoughts on relationships. Because, wow, what a vast, vast topic, right? Woo! We could just talk forever about relationships. Oh, fascinating. Oh, universe. Okay, this is the Four of Swords. And why I'm laughing is because this card, I happened as I was shuffling, Karen, to glance down and saw it in the deck. It kind of parted, the deck parted, and there it was. And I just kept shuffling. Honestly, I ignored it and just kept shuffling. And here it's back again. Thanks, angels. Okay, I get it. Four of Swords it is. So, what I'm picking up from this card, Karen, is this card is about repose. So that's one thing that I'm getting from this card is about repose. So there's a dragon lying and sleeping and resting. There's a woman lying beside the dragon and sleeping and resting. And there are four swords lying in front of them. You know, what I'm getting from this card, Karen, is of course, yes, it's about rest and pause, but I'm actually really getting the idea of a choice here. You have four swords to choose from, but the message is don't choose yet. So stop, rest, take a break. Karen, don't make any choices just yet, or at least don't take any action just yet. So for instance, Karen, if you are thinking about ending a relationship, I'm not saying that that's definitely what the impression here is, but this is a for instance, if you are thinking about ending a relationship, the message here would be, hold on, just pause, slow down. We recommend not taking any action yet. So take some deep breaths, take a nap, rest by your dragon. You've got four options here. You don't have to choose one of them right now. As a matter of fact, don't choose right now. Just let the options, the swords hang out. Just let them lay there. They will still be there when you wake up from your nap. So this is what I'm getting from this card for you, Karen. And I think that as it pertains to relationships in general, I think that sometimes we do feel a real urgency in relationships. Oh no, there's a problem. Oh no, I need to fix it. Oh no, we need to address this right now. When sometimes all we need to do is just take a nap. All we need to do is just chill out, hang out, and no need to worry right now. Just let the problem, just let it hang out for a second. We don't need to take any big action right now. And so this is what I'm getting from the Four of Swords for your relationship challenge, Karen. Karen, I'm going to draw some more cards for you, but first I'm going to send some Reiki. And I'm going to send some Reiki to your relationship challenges. And I'm going to send some Reiki to all of us for our relationship challenges, because I guarantee whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are, you've got some relationship challenges. That's just the nature of being a human being. And so I'm going to send Reiki to all of us for our relationship challenges right now. So I ask you to please join me in taking 3 deep cleansing breaths. And everyone, as always, if you don't wish the Reiki to go to you, don't worry, it won't. And I'm also going to say that if you are currently having a relationship challenge where you would like the Reiki to go, please, you are welcome to set that intention that the Reiki go specifically to that relationship. Karen and everyone, thank you. So Karen, I got the very strong image while sending Reiki of a bungee cord, and you were bouncing on that bungee cord. Is bungee jumping still a thing? Like, do you remember that was a thing years ago? Is that still a thing that people do? I don't know. I personally never did it, but I had that very distinct image for you, Karen. And the impression here was that with a relationship challenge that you're currently having, was the impression that you feel like this is like bungee jumping, back and forth all of the time. And so I want to encourage you when you have that kind of feeling. So what's coming through for you right now, Karen, is this idea of just being true to yourself and being authentic to yourself, and finding balance. So that back and forth is not something that you enjoy. You distinctly are feeling that way in one of your relationships, and it's tiring to you. And so what I'm going to recommend, Karen, is that, again, you start first and foremost with yourself and explore that idea of balance that you desire, to stop that back and forth and what that means and what it looks like to you. Because, you know, we hear a lot, we talk a lot about balance, and you've got to find your balance. But the truth is that balance means different things to everyone. So balance is going to mean something different to me from what it means to you, Karen, in this relationship. And so I want to first encourage you to explore what balance means for you in this particular relationship, the one in which you feel like you are back and forth, like you are bungee jumping. So, okay, Karen, I'm also going to pull an Archangel card for you. And I'm also going to pull a mantra for you at this time too. So let's see what the Archangels have to say about relationship stuff. Whoa, we had two just fly right out. Wow. Okay, I have to laugh again, Karen. Because as I was shuffling, the deck parted and I saw a particular card and I just shuffled it right back in and kept shuffling. Then two cards very distinctly jumped out and landed on the ground face down. I turned them around, picked them up, and one of the cards is indeed that very card that, just like the Four of Swords, I ignored and shuffled right back in. It's great. So the two cards are, oh, the one, by the way, that I briefly glanced at while I was shuffling and just kept shuffling was, you know what to do. Archangel Uriel says, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. That's so interesting, Karen. That really kind of contradicts with the idea of taking a nap and not making a choice yet. So that is really interesting. But what I'm thinking is that, and you can have multiple relationship challenges. And so actually, Karen, we could be talking about multiple relationships here. But I think what I'm getting is that as this pertains to the back and forth bungee jumping one, is that you know the answer here, Karen. And you know what needs to be done with this relationship that you are back and forth on. I don't know that this is correct, Karen. And so I'm making a big assumption here, and I may very well be wrong, and that's okay. But the impression that I got when I was sending Reiki and saw that bungee jumping and back and forth feeling was of a love relationship or a romantic kind of relationship in which maybe you felt like, oh, this is just so back and forth, on again, off again kind of thing. Again, I might be wrong, and that's okay. But either way, I feel very confident that this card, you know what to do, specifically has to do with that back and forth relationship experience that you're having right now. And so you are being encouraged that you know what to do. So Karen, remember how I said, Karen, find your balance, find what that means to you. What this card is saying to me is that you already know what that is. You already know what the balance is for you, and you're being encouraged to act on it. Now, the second card that came out very appropriately is gentleness. Archangel Sandalphon says, be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. And what I'm getting from this card, Karen, is gentleness with, yes, the card says yourself, but with the other person. So whatever you have decided about this relationship, you are being encouraged to be gentle with the other person. And I'm going to encourage you, yes, I agree with the card, of course, be gentle with yourself, but please do, Karen, be gentle with the other person in this relationship. And so going back to that idea of compassion, just make sure that whatever you decide and whatever the outcome is, please make sure that you just are gentle in your communications, that you are compassionate, that you speak your truth clearly and kindly. I think sometimes we have this idea that when we speak our truth, we need to be bold and we need to be open and we need to kind of go in with guns blazing or swords flying. And the truth is that true strength knows gentleness, and true strength, true ability to speak authentically does so in loving kindness and compassion and gentleness. And so I want to encourage you to approach this relationship in that way, Karen. So, okay, Karen, final card. We're going to pull a mantra card for you. And we're going to see what kind of mantra we have for you at this time to help you in this experience. I am grateful. Yes. When we are grateful for the many blessings in our life, angels send us more of them. I breathe in the appreciation of all that I have and all that I give. I am filled with thankfulness for this day, a chance to bless and be blessed. I breathe out in gratitude. Oh, interesting. Karen, that's the way I read it. The word is ingratitude, as in not thankful. So it's all one word, ingratitude. But this can also be read, so you breathe out or get rid of ingratitude, but this can also be read, I breathe out in gratitude or with gratitude. Wonderful. I love it. Yes. So Karen, yes, thank you, angels. This is so true that when we approach relationship challenges, and we approach maybe the dissolution of a relationship or talking about relationship challenges, I mentioned compassion. Yes, absolutely. And gratitude. Thank you for that wonderful reminder, angels. Gratitude. Always gratitude. So when you approach this particular relationship, Karen, in which you feel back and forth, I have the distinct feeling that you are at the end of your rope with this relationship, and that you are really just feeling rather fed up. At least that's the feeling that I had when I was sending Reiki, that you are so tired of the back and forth and feeling fed up with it. And what I really want to encourage you to do is to, as you approach the other person in this relationship with compassion and gentleness, to also approach it with gratitude. So approach the relationship and approach the person with gratitude. Because even if this is something that you are fed up with, you are at the end of your rope and you are done, there are still reasons to be thankful for this relationship and for even where you are in the relationship and with the relationship. So let's say that you are ready to end it, Karen. That is a reason to be thankful, that you are at the point where you are ready to end it. So maybe you wouldn't have gotten to this point without the back and forth. Maybe you would not have gotten to this point if you were not at the end of this rope, at the end of your rope. And maybe this relationship would be continuing for longer than is really healthy for you. And so even that, Karen, is something to be grateful for. So I do encourage, thank you, angels, gratitude, gentleness, and definitely compassion as you approach this relationship and the other person in this relationship, whatever it is that you are taking in terms of action. But the angels say, you know what to do, so do it. And then maybe take a nap afterward, Karen. But thank you so much, Karen, for this statement on relationships and the desire for some discussion of relationships. I send you blessings and best wishes, and I send blessings and best wishes to all of us for all of our relationship challenges, which we have had, are having, and guaranteed will have in the future as well. So thank you all, best wishes, and blessings for your journey. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask the Stones. If you have a question for Ask the Stones, please send me an email at christian@standingstoneshealing.com or connect with me on Facebook at Standing Stones Healing. Thank you, and best wishes for your journey.